The Algerian sex criminal on the loose after being mistakenly released from prison was in Britain illegally. Brahim Kadour Sharif entered Britain on a visit visa in 2019. He was marked as having overstayed in February 2020. That's more than 5 years ago. He committed indecent exposure. He was given an 18-month community order and put on the sex offenders register for 5 years. So 4 years after he was in Britain illegally, he committed a sex offence and we just didn't deport him. He was actually in prison for another crime, trespass with intent to steal, and the footage you're watching on your television screens right now is the moment he was arrested for that. And yet, he was just allowed to wander out of Wandsworth prison a week ago. Nobody told the Metropolitan Police until yesterday. The Justice Secretary and Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy found out about it last night but refused to own up to it in the House of Commons today.
Can he reassure the House that since Kabatu was released, no other asylum-seeking offender has been accidentally let out of prison? It's a clear question. Can he give an answer?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Get a grip, man. I know I'm the Justice Secretary. That's why I'm at the dispatch box, also as Deputy Prime Minister. We know that. I'm not going to pray in aid. Dame Anne Owens is a former Deputy Commissioner in London, head of the NCA. It is for her to get to the bottom of that work.
I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, isn't there, actually? The level of aggression, the level of anger, the finger-waving, the shouting, the get-a-grip man, all the while, right in front of him, was a pre-prepared response about the fact that he knew this guy was on the loose. Also, you might notice he wasn't wearing a poppy there, but more on that later. It comes just days after this Ethiopian child sex offender was accidentally released. Hadush Kabatu was let out, tried to hand himself back in, was given directions to a train station by prison officers, went to London, got hold of a natty little avocado tote bag, went into a public library, there he is, tried to hand himself into police again, and then was caught just sitting on a park bench. We then paid him 500 quid to go back to Ethiopia. That's the equivalent of a year's salary over there. Labour has lost control of our justice system. Today it emerged that 262 prisoners were accidentally released in the year to March 2025. Goodness only knows how many it is now. At 4 p.m. today, it was revealed that HMP Wandsworth accidentally released another prisoner.
You're joking. Not another one?
Yes, another one. William Billy Smith was sentenced to 45 months for multiple fraud offences on Monday. They let him out on the same day. They've got no idea where he is. Yesterday, we found out that the ringleader of the Rochdale Pakistani rape gang, who impregnated a 13-year-old girl, has also vanished. The government has no idea where he is. They think he's left the country, but we don't really know for sure. Remember when Labour did their early release scheme?
Keep going.
My dog told me to the cup last week. Ever since then, I had leave, man. I got a man big new butt last week. I'm still trying to get it on scene. She wanted a bird, I got a Chanel.
Lovely bunch of lads. 3 prisoners have been recalled for every 4 that Labour released. One bloke just freed himself whilst we were filming.
When we were reporting, we saw a man appear on top of this fence, which you can see in the distance, which is topped with barbed wire. He jumped down to where a black vehicle was waiting for him with the car door open. He hopped in the vehicle and the vehicle left at speed. Now, the police are now investigating and the prison have told us that a roll call will now need to take place to try and determine exactly which prisoner it is that's managed to escape from HMP Kirkham.
Labour say they inherited an overcrowded prison system. Well, why not just deport all of the 10,772 foreign prisoners? That is around 12% of our entire prison population. This is also a damning indictment, by the way, of the previous Conservative government, because there is no excuse for not deporting a criminal who had been illegally in Britain for 4 years. I'm talking, of course, in relation to the Algerian man who's on the loose. But it's also a catastrophe for Labour, who have unquestionably now lost control of our justice system. Let's go. Worried about your privacy online, especially with the new digital ID debates and Online Safety Act in the news? Your mum was right. Some things really don't need sharing, especially with your internet provider, advertisers, or even the owner of that random pub Wi-Fi. All of them can see a lot more than you think. Unless, of course, you're using ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is designed to help you reclaim control. It encrypts your online activity, making it much harder for Wi-Fi owners or third parties, whether that's your boss, landlord, or just someone at the airport, to watch what you are doing online. ExpressVPN has been independently audited 3 times, most recently by KPMG in 2025, who confirmed that ExpressVPN does not keep activity or connection logs. ExpressVPN's encryption is extremely tough, and cracking it would take enormous computing power and many years. With new tiered plans, you can protect up to 14 devices at once and manage passwords securely with ExpressVPN keys, plus enjoy greater identity protection features at higher tiers. Live chat support is available 24/7 and typically connects you with a real person in under a minute. If you're ready to try ExpressVPN right now, you can get a plan starting from just $3.49 a month if you purchase a 2-year subscription, which gives you up to 4 extra months for free. Click the link in the description to lock down your privacy and give hackers, trackers, and nosy parkers the boot. Protect your privacy now with ExpressVPN today. Thoughts on my panel. We've got the director of the Popular Conservatives, Mark Littlewood, pub landlord and activist Adam Brooks, and journalist Nina Mishkov. OK then, Mark, so just to say to our viewers and listeners, by the way, I will be doing a full David Lammy special at 10 p.m, and yes, I will be including clips from Mastermind. But just on the slightly more serious facts of this matter right now, it's a complete car crash, isn't it?
Yes, and it's more than one car crash, isn't it? I don't just mean that 2 prisoners have been wrongly released from Wandsworth today. Every aspect of the system seems to be broken. So we're scratching our head about why this guy was even in the country, let alone in a British prison, in order to be wrongly released. And there's verbiage, frankly, from our politicians about it. I mean, I still don't think anybody's been fired for the release of Kabutu. No. The other thing that happened here, of course, is they released him to 5 days to tell the cops. 5 days! Yeah. I mean, if you make an error like that, you would imagine a chef burns down his kitchen and it takes him 5 days to phone the fire brigade. I mean, what on earth is going on? We hear that there's going to be a forensic investigation. How forensic does it need to be? I mean, who signed the form? You're fired. Surely the extent of the forensic investigation. Prison officers and prison governors, I think, need to know if they make these errors, they will be out of a job. And that might actually solve the system. Not more checks and balances and forms, some personal responsibility. So this is compelling evidence that every aspect of our justice and immigration system is broken down. And I've not heard any compelling case from the government about how they're going to fix it, just that they want to.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely catastrophic, really, that we have now, on top of all the other sex offenders that we just have out on the streets anyway, we've got this guy who could be anywhere.
Yeah, yet another foreign sex pest amongst our women and our children. I go on about it a lot. I've got 2 daughters. This man could be anywhere. We have enough scumbags in this country as it is. We don't need to be importing. It's every day that I'm putting on my social media a rape, a sexual assault or a violent crime by one of these asylum seekers or migrants. It has to stop. We've got Labour that are letting people out that have beaten their wife, that are in there for violence. They're letting them out after 40% of their prison sentences. One man has just been charged with murder, who they let out early. That's how incompetent and stupid this government is. And our courts, you can't make it up. We've got liberal judges that are giving people that wave knives at people suspended sentences. We are living in a hellhole at the moment, and it is because of our government and our judiciary. You know, it is so worrying for a parent right now. Everyone I speak to is pulling their hair out. They can't believe how far this country has fallen in just 15 or 16 months under Labour.
Yeah, Nina, again, just to make the point, so with this Algerian man, he didn't arrive illegally. What happened was he came on a visit visa, then overstayed the visa, and it looks as though our security services or Home Office or whatever, which was under the Conservatives, knew that he'd overstayed from February 2020. He's then arrested, I believe, for the sex offence in 2024, and then we've let him go. I mean, the whole system's broken from top to bottom there, isn't it?
I completely agree. It's an absolute catastrophe. But you cannot blame the current government for the state, because it's not suddenly since July last year that the prisons have been completely full.
The stats say otherwise.
Hang on a minute. That the prisons are completely full, that the justice system has not been working for several years and for longer than that. If you go back to why we have so many criminals, why we are in such a state, is that the Conservatives, and David Lammy is quite right, the Conservatives decimated our police system. They decimated that. So the justice system was so backed up. Rape trials take years and years and years to come to court. But the thing is, under the Conservatives, Wandsworth Prison was found to be completely failing. When Daniel Khalifa escaped, that was a disaster. I mean, the Wandsworth Prison governor has got to go, surely.
Well, there's that question of accountability. What the stats would appear to show, though, is that there has been an increase in accidental releases under the Labour Party.
128%, I believe.
Well, it's extraordinary. And look, I'm more than happy to take criticisms and to make criticisms of the previous Conservative government. I don't think they built sufficient prison capacity.
Agreed.
And therefore, the Labour Party, when they came into office, inherited a system in considerable distress. But how long do you need to start to fix things? I mean, if we know people are being wrongly released, well, this is 15 months into this government. What can be done in 15 days?
About this, because this is the point I want to make. We built 7 Nightingale hospitals during COVID. So that was within about an 18-month, 2-year period. Possibly even less, actually. We built 7 whopping great big overflow hospitals, which we basically didn't use. We could do the same with prisons.
Yes, it's a bit more complicated with prisons, because obviously you need the security of not allowing people to come and go at will, which you allow in a hospital. Well, I say that. You may as well just have an open stores policy. Come and go as you please. But I agree with you that I'm bewildered that this government just doesn't get its skates on anything. So even if they want to say, look, we've inherited a complete mess, why are we 15 months in without a plan to build, I don't know, Nightingale prisons or some new mega prison, or some clarity to the prison service that, you know, this will be the penalty if you make a mistake. I want you to know you'll be fired or sanctioned. Nothing has happened other than 15 months of blaming the Conservatives for the previous 14 years. That's not good enough.
Well, let's remember, the reason they are releasing prisoners early is because they have to, because they're physically...
But that's a different thing. That's not an error, is it?
No, it's the same thing, because Adam mentioned it, releasing people early. That's why they're having to do that.
Under the Conservatives, and this is still bad, between 50 and 80 prisoners were released a year mistakenly. We're up to 262.
It was from between March last year and March this year.
That is a ridiculous jump.
It is horrendous.
And our prisons, we are jailing people, putting people in prison for things they write on the internet. Yet we have videos that go viral of people with huge swords waving them at people, and they are getting suspended sentences. Our whole system is broken, Patrick.
But we're agreed, aren't we, that even if we might have an argument about what you should go to prison for and what you shouldn't, why some of these people are still on the streets and being sent to prison when they should have been sent back to Algeria, it still boggles the mind that any prison could wrongly release a prisoner.
Well, including, by the way, the bloke who was sentenced to 45 months for multiple fraud issues. I'm not actually sure his feet ever touched Wandsworth soil, because he was sentenced at a Crown Court and then he was freed the same day. which implies to me that he might have either been released from court or he's pulled up at Wandsworth in a prison van, gone into some kind of holding area, and they've said, right, you're up for release. I mean, the kind of, you laugh so you don't cry with this. I mean, as a guy who's in for multiple counts of fraud, you think maybe he's tried some trick to get his way out of prison. You know,
but probably not.
Just let him go.
Well, they misheard it as a not guilty verdict when it was a guilty verdict.
The thing is,
So, I mean, it's just
our
ludicrous.
prison officers get 12 weeks of training. So if you can fit into the uniform, you're over 18, you're not falling down, you can do it.
Yeah.
Norway, 2 years. 2 years they've trained for.
And the last point I want to make is that 1 in 4 sex assaults in this country is by a foreign-born man. This is another instance where we have a sex case that has come from another country into the UK. Our women and our children are not safe from so many of these foreign men.
And again, this is a topic we're going to come on to in much more detail later on. We've got a big update from Mark White, excuse me, I'm a security editor, at past, so in about 10 minutes' time or so, but then at 10 p.m, you know, I think we've got every right to get stuck right into David Lammy, frankly, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing. But if you knew that this guy was a dangerous sex offender and was on the run, why did they not tell us about it, not tell us about it at Prime Minister's Questions, and not put a picture of this guy out until very, very late this evening? Anyway, a spokesperson for the Ministry of Justice has just released this statement. The crisis in the prison system this government inherited is such that basic information about individual cases can take unacceptably long to reach ministers. On entering the House, facts were still emerging about the case, and the Deputy Prime Minister had not been accurately informed of key details, including the offender's immigration status. No media story about the individual case was yet in the public domain, and it was and remains subject to a live police investigation. The Deputy Prime Minister was asked questions about the release of an asylum seeker. As was confirmed after PMQs by the Home Office, the individual was not an asylum seeker. The Deputy PM waited until after PMQs and further facts had emerged before making that statement. There is a lot to go at there because there are some key differences. You don't need me to tell you, but there are some key differences in that statement to a statement that was released earlier today. So make of that what you will.